Test, test, test. Let's make sure this is going. 1, 2, 3. I wonder if we can edit this right now. Oh, you can. Twitch. Let's just go here. Videos. Events. Oh, that's already started. Cool. What do we call this? Let me do this. Stop this. Live done. Good morning, guys. How are you doing? Nice. Fun. Or good afternoon or good evening, when your time is. Okay, so we got the sound going. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take off the headphones. Let's put this guy over here. Let's put this guy over there. Okay, cool. Hi, X. How are you? Thanks for popping by. For sure. So, how are we doing for time? We're at 9:01. Should we make some food? Let's make some food. Let me take off this start shortly. Hi, Chycho. Hi, Night. Oh, fun. Doop. And the text is appearing there. Okay, let me make sure the text is not being blocked. Yeah, that's perfect. That's showing up okay. Yeah. Okay, guys. Should we make some yummy food? Let's make some yummy food. So thank you for popping by. Let me have a sip of tea. We got a few people. I think it does show. Oh wow, we got 13 people on right now. That's pretty quick. Within a minute, within 2 minutes. Thanks for popping by, guys. Gang. So the deal today is, should we close this door? Let's close this door so the light is not so bright. That's better. Yeah, that's better. So the deal today is, I'm gonna show you a couple of quick dishes that I've had to be part of my life for forever, right? Since I was really small. They're quick dishes, and I ended up making these two dishes a lot when I was going to university, because at university, one of the first things is I was on budget, right? So it's very quick, simple food to make, but it's also very affordable, and it gives you a lot of power, right? So these are a couple of dishes that I ended up making when I was university a lot, right? And we ate it with bread and whatnot. We'll go through that later on, okay? And what I want to do right now, before we get started, as usual, let me give you sort of the lay of the land of how everything is going to work right now, okay? I have my mic set up here. We got our laptop set up here with the camera coming, the main camera coming here. And again, my apologies if the microphone is picking up the computer humming. I still need to get some additional tools to be able to optimize what we're doing with the live streams. Okay, so the computer's set up here with the main camera. I have one camera set up here that is looking down at this element, and another camera set up here looking down at this element here. Okay, and these are the videos. That's gonna be, oops, this guy here. This is sort of mirrored compared to where I am. That's this guy here. Okay, and we got a camera set up Hey, where is it? Here's the other one. Okay, move this guy back, and that's the element right here. Okay, so we're gonna make a couple of dishes in both of them. One of them is going to be a smaller pot, and the other one's going to be a little bit bigger pot. One of them is going to be tomatoes and eggs, and another one's going to be dates and eggs. Okay, but before we get started, I think your cookie recipe was my favorite to date, brother. Glad to finally catch it live, although I don't have long. Hopefully we get to it. Actually, if you don't have long, I'm going to show you one little quick thing that I make. Here, let me turn off these cameras, and I'm going to keep this one. Actually, let's turn on this one. Boop. Okay, so I'm going to do something here. I'm going to show you something really quick that we used to make, and I still do, and in the winter especially. I end up eating this a lot in the mornings. Okay, and it's really quick, and again, it doesn't cost very much, and it gives you a lot of energy. Okay, let me bring this guy here, our little cutting board here. I'm just going to do it here, and let me bring a little plate. Okay, and basically one of the things, big fan of you, thanks brother. One of the things that I've eaten a lot in my life, okay, and I still continue to eat a lot, and it's sort of it became a part of our repertoire for food about 20 years ago or so. And the recipe is simple. Basically, if you get your hands on some tahini. Okay, and tahini is just sesame seeds, right? I believe it's just sesame seeds, just crunched up. So it looks like this, right? And you can see the oil on top of the sesame, right? So this is really good for winter because it's power food. Okay, and this is basically one of the main ingredients they use for hummus, and at some point I'm going to show you how to make hummus as well. Okay, I think the live format is really good. I'm glad you guys are liking the live format. Okay, so here's something that you can make really quick that's going to give you a lot of energy, and it's going to keep you going for a long time. Like if you only had a chance to eat in the morning and you're not going to have a chance to eat later on in the afternoon, take some tahini. Okay, let me dump this here, throw it in a plate. Okay, and tahini by itself is really bitter. I don't know if the right word is bitter. It doesn't taste very good by itself, right? So take tahini, and let me put this guy here. Take some honey, and I have some honey left over in a pot or in a bowl that we used previously. So take about, I took about a big fork full of tahini, right? Take about this much honey, actually a little bit more for this guy. Take about this much honey, throw it in, and mix it together. Okay. And you can do this with honey, or you can do it with maple syrup. I do it with maple syrup a lot, but right now I'm out of maple syrup. Okay, so mix this up, and the honey or the maple syrup gets rid of the sort of the really, I guess it's the word I use is bitter, but I don't know if that's the right word. Tahini by itself doesn't taste very good, but when you mix it up together like this, the tahini or the maple syrup, you can mix of each as well. It gives it a sweet taste and gets rid of that bitterness. Okay, and you can eat it with a spoon. Okay, and you can make it straight, the sweetness to your taste, right? I like my stuff really sweet, so I tend to go heavy on the maple syrup or the honey. Okay, it's good by itself with a spoon, but it's really nice if you have some nice bread. This part is a little burnt, so you don't want the burnt stuff. Take a little bit of a bread. I really actually like sourdough with this type of stuff, and this is really good as well. This is sort of like heavy seedy bread, right? Let me show you this. It's like heavy seedy bread, right? And it keeps you going for a while, right? And basically toast it up. I've already toasted this a little bit earlier, so it's sort of on the crackery side, and you can just dip it in there. Right, fantastic. It's a nice little sort of a dish if you have guests over as well. Okay, it's nice to have on the table if someone needs, instead of having, tangy dips, you can have a sweet dip, because this is a really sweet dip. It's nice. It's very delicious tasting. Okay, so that's something you can have, and I've had this in the mornings when it's cold winters a fair bit. Okay, so I thought I'd show you that as well. So let's put this down the side, because we're going to eat other stuff, right? We're going to make other stuff. So what I want to do right now is I want to do the little bit of prep that we need to do before we make the two little dishes that we're going to make. Okay, and tea and that tahini with the dip. Oh, fantastic, fantastic, right? Here's my little teacup. Right? Heat up the tea a little bit. Okay. Now, let's do a little prep. One of the things we do, the things we're going to make is dates, right? I love tahini. I use it almost every day to make hummus. Yeah, hummus is fantastic. For this dish, one of the two things we're going to do for the two dishes that we're going to make, one of them is with dates, and these are the dates that I have that I'm using right now. And basically the dates that I like to use to make this dish are more of the squishy dates. If you can see, this is nice and squishy, right? If you can take a look at that, you can get dates that are harder, and those are good as well making this dish, but I like the squishy one because it gets like gooey when you cook it up a little bit. Okay, and one thing I do with dates 100% of the time usually is wash them. Give them just pour some water and just give them a quick little rinse. Okay, just in water, just give them a quick little rinse, just the same way we would rice, or we do with tea, because usually, if dates are picked and if they're dried and stuff like this, they're sitting outside, and you sort of want to get rid of the dust or whatever has been built up on them, right? So what we're gonna do, I'll grab a plate here. Before we can make the date dish, we need to take out the seeds from the dates, right? And make sure you get all the seeds, right? I just crack them open, and this is the seeds that we pull out, right? So make sure you crack these open, get rid of the seeds. You don't want anyone biting down on the seeds, right? You'll break your teeth, and it won't be a pleasant experience, right? So let's crack these open. Sometimes I just pop the seeds in my mouth and just eat them, not eat them, but suck on them, because there's a little bit of what do you call it, dates left in them, right? So I sort of throw that in my mouth and then spit out the seeds after I got all the dates off of them. But right now we'll leave that alone. We got a few things going, right? So let's do this. I don't think I'm gonna make all of it. Maybe I will, because this dish that I'm making right now, usually with the dates and the eggs, I usually have it either breakfast or lunch. Okay, I usually don't have it for dinner. So usually I don't eat too many sweet things at dinner. Okay, I think that's enough. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna transfer these guys over. I'm gonna take these dates that are all the seeds are out. I'm just gonna dump them in there, and we'll put this guy to the side as well. And a little water. So that's all set, right? Deseeded. Okay, I'm just gonna put that guy here. Now the other thing we need to do, and I don't need to, if the dates, what we're making with the dates, if that took a while, I would get that going right now, but the one with the tomatoes takes a little bit longer than the one with dates. So I'm gonna sort of do this in order so they're both sort of ready at the same time. Try to anyway. So the other dish we're gonna make, oops, the other dish we're gonna make, we're gonna use tomatoes, right? Now I don't know if I'm gonna make. I'm not gonna use all the tomatoes. I'm gonna use 2 tomatoes in the dish. We could actually only, you know, we could just use 1 as well, but let's use 2 tomatoes. Okay. And tomatoes I usually just take off this part of the tomato. Okay, we'll throw these in the sink and compost them later. And these guys are just cut like any shape. Like it doesn't really make a difference. It doesn't have to be flat. It doesn't need to be anything like that. You could make them all flat, right? But I do cut them sort of on the small to medium size. I don't cut them big. Okay. You know what? This is going to be enough. 1.5 tomatoes is going to be enough for what we're going to make. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to transfer these tomatoes to another little bowl. Okay. Just grab these guys. Okay. Let's throw those guys in there. So let's put that guy on the side. Now, since we're doing tomatoes, let me show you another dish that I've eaten a lot of. It's fantastic if you want a little snack. It's not really a meal, but it's a snack. It's a great little snack. So you basically cut up tomatoes. Okay. And tomatoes are amazing, right? They're fantastic food. Let me bring up another tomato as well. We'll use 1.5 tomatoes for this guy as well, right? So again, let's get rid of this guy. Get out of there. So let's get rid of these 2. So again, we're breaking these guys up, you know, not too big, not too small. But what we are going to do with this one, I'll show you. We're going to put them in a bowl. And another thing we need to make this dish. Hi Dante. How are you guys doing? Lots of happy faces going on. That's good. Okay. So this is 1.5 tomatoes as well, right? So let's do this. Let me show you what I do with these guys. Should we put it in this one? We'll put it in this big bowl, but we don't need it to be in a big bowl. Okay, let's just transfer this guy over. Add a little spillage here. Okay, let's throw that there. Put this here. Transfer this guy over because we don't need this guy anymore. Put the knife on the side. Give the hands a little wash. Then we got a little spillage here, so let's wipe this away. Clean up our messes as we do, right? So before I show you this little dish, I'm gonna get the tomatoes going, the 1.5 that we made. Okay, so what we're gonna do, I'm gonna take a little pot or little pan, okay, and I'm gonna heat this up. I'm gonna put it on medium. Okay, what are you cooking? I'm cooking up tomatoes with eggs, and then dates and eggs, and we're doing a couple of side dishes as well. We're talking about a couple of side dishes. So we're gonna get the tomato stuff going. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get the tomatoes hot. So I don't know if the right word is reduce them, but I'm gonna try to cook them up and get rid of as much moisture or a certain amount of moisture as possible. And once you do that, the tomatoes end up being like tangy. It gives out a certain burnt, I don't want to say burnt, but there is a certain burnt flavor to them when you cook them up in this way, the way I do. And what I'm going to do is, because I'm going to use higher heat for this, this is sort of a, I put this on a little bit over medium, but this is sort of like considered to be like turbo boil with this stove set. So it cooks at a high temp. So what I'm gonna do, because I'm gonna cook at a high temp, I'm gonna use coconut oil. Okay, this coconut oil right here. Okay, just about this much. I might add a little bit more later as well. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna bring up this guy. Let's throw that in there. Okay. And one thing we do need, well, actually I can do it over here. I'm just going to use a plate and put my cutlery, I guess, whatever instruments that I'm using for the cooking over here. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to dump this in here right now. Okay. And we're just going to let it cook up. Okay, and we don't really need the bowl anymore, but we'll put it on the side just in case we need a bowl. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add salt to this right away, and I use sort of, I don't know, as sea salt is really good. Sea salt is really good. This is Himalayan, like the pink salt, but I'm staying away from that because I rather have sea salt. I rather not have Himalayan salt coming my way, travel all that distance. We should be able to get some salt in our local community, but this salt is pretty strong, right? So I don't use too much. Tomatoes actually do need a fair bit of salt. So while that's cooking up, let me show you what I do with this guy. Okay, now for this, if you want a quick little snack, and if you like feta cheese, right? Who doesn't like feta cheese? Take a look at this. Take tomatoes, right? If you want a nice little quick little snack. Oh my, I finally catch your stream. Nice. Take for this is 1.5 tomatoes, right? And I'm gonna take this much, break it up in there together, smush it in, and I'm probably gonna add more feta after I smush it in, depending on how feta-y this seems to be, right? So let me turn on this camera here and I'll show you, you know, the squishiness, how I end up squishing it. Let's turn on this one. So over here, right, usually I don't put things on the elements, so let's just put this. Let's see if this is gonna hold. Oh, that's too wobbly. Actually, let's just bring this guy back. Let me give this guy a wipe. That guy there. So you can see over here the tomatoes are already sizzling, right? So that's good. That's exactly what we want, and we're gonna let it sizzle for a bit. I'm gonna keep it on high heat for a bit. It's not maximum, it's about 3/4 on a normal element. On the turbo it's a little bit just less than over half. Okay, so what I'm gonna do with this guy, I'm just gonna squish all this in together, right? And once you add the feta and tomatoes in together, you don't need salt. You won't need salt because feta is fairly salty. Right. Actually, that's enough feta. I'm not gonna add any more feta. And I like squishing it. I like it to be sort of semi-pasty to a certain degree, not semi-pasty. I do like the chunks of tomatoes. Now that this thing's like full-on sizzling, right, just mix it up a little bit. I'm just gonna turn it down a little just on this element because this element tends to burn things. Okay, let's throw that in there. Let's keep on squishing this. Okay, so this is what we end up having. And if you want a nice little quick snack, right, this thing's pretty good. If you like feta, if you're a lover of feta, this is fantastic, right? You can just take little chunks. Like seriously, really good. Nice flavor to it. You can see how hot this is getting, right? So I'm going to turn it down. And this is cast iron pans, and they get hot. The handles get hot. So once you start cooking with these, I start using sort of a whatever little gripper, right? So let's cook that up. Turned it down already, so we're going to let it simmer a little bit, or cook gently, more gently anyway. Let's bring this out in this pot. I think he said it was the morning. Yeah, it's the morning here. It's, what time is it? 9:20. Oh, someone posted 9:25 PST, Pacific time. 9:25 a.m. Cool. So we're gonna do this. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna get the dates going. And because the dates, I'm not gonna cook at a high temp, I'm gonna use olive oil. Okay. Dates cook up. You gotta be careful with the dates. The dates cook up super fast. Okay, so I'm just throwing some olive oil on there. And all I'm going to do, I'm going to use a different wooden thing, because this guy's all tomatoey, right? I don't want to use a tomato with the dates. And I'm going to throw the dates in there. Okay, let's just put this guy here, just balance this guy here. Mix this up. And what happens right now with the tomatoes, it's just at the beginning stages of it sort of sticking to the pot, right? When I go like this, it's not just liquid, just swifting. You can see a little, you can feel a little grab on it, right? So do this. And what I'm going to do right now, while I have the dates cooking up here, and the dates, seriously, they cook really fast and they burn really fast. And what you're going to have to end up doing is, once they start cooking, you might have to just flip them with forks. Okay, so I'm just slowly going to flatten these out so they get the most area, so they're not all bunched up, right? Put those guys there. Now we're gonna crack open the eggs, because these are both scrambled egg style. Okay, so I got, I said I was gonna put 2 in each, so I grabbed 6 out of the fridge, right? I'm going to use 2 for this one, for the tomatoes, okay? And I'm probably going to use more for this one. Okay, so what we need, and I usually have a dedicated bowl. I try to anyway, I deviate from this, but I usually try to keep a dedicated bowl for mixing eggs, right? So, yeah, let's just put 2 in the tomatoes. Again, after touching eggs, I usually wash my hands. Okay. 5:25 p.m. in the UK. 5:25 p.m. in the UK. This dish that I'm making, I end up eating for dinner as well, a fair bit. Just something quick, nutritious. And usually when I make it, I eat it with bread. And sometimes I throw feta on the side or on it, and I do have greens. So just mix up the eggs. I'm not going to throw it in yet. I want the tomatoes to cook up more. Okay. I'm going to kick up the heat for this guy, for the dates. Nice. Let's check this out. Can you see, here, let me see if you can see it. See the way it's bubbling? Right. So we've gotten rid of a fair bit of the liquid. Let's give it maximum surface area. Okay. And usually, I try to do, and what I do with this one, the tomato one, especially not with the dates and the eggs, but with the tomatoes and the eggs. I do have greens. I try to anyway, as much as I can, ready to go. Okay, in the fridge. I end up usually buying greens in big batches, and what I end up doing is washing them all. And then when you wash greens, they usually don't last as long. So what you gotta do, if you just leave them out, what I do, I wrap them up. This is my dedicated little towel that I have for greens. So when I make the tomatoes and the eggs, I usually have, for dinner anyway, I usually have greens on the side with a little bit of feta, with a little bit of bread, and usually flat bread, because I like rolling up the greens with flat bread, and feta in there is super delicious. And just eat that with the tomatoes. So this is getting ready. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna throw this in there now. Could have even used 3 eggs. Okay. So we don't actually do need that. Now what you need for this one is a lid on the pot. Okay. Now this is a lid that we have for another pot that we use. It's not for the pan. And I'm gonna kick this down a lot because this is cooking up super hot. And as you can tell, take a look at this. I'm gonna turn dates down now. Okay. Because, let me bring this over. Take a look. Hopefully you can see that. It might getting blurry, but it's starting to cook up really fast. The dates really do this fast. Okay, so what I end up doing, I usually flip these, get both sides nice and cooked up so they're not gonna burn. And dates get sticky, so it gets a little bit harder to flip them around, right? Sometimes I squish them. Yeah. When you squish, you get more surface, right? So you get more of the caramelized date feel to them. Okay. Let's flip, let's flip. Just got 2 more to flip. And let me get rid of the green here, because some of the green came in. Okay. I'll show you the green. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to crack open 3 eggs, mix them up, scramble them, and throw them on here and put a lid on top. And you got to do this fairly rapidly. This cooks fairly fast. And we got to check on the tomatoes and the eggs too, make sure we're not burning them. So let's check on the tomatoes and the eggs right now. Nice. Okay, let's put the lid here. I'm just gonna leave the lid off now, let it steam away. Okay. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna scramble this guy. Right? And this cooks fairly rapidly as well, the dates and the eggs. You're cooking eggs basically, right? I'm eating some leftover Bortarian cognac spread on bread. Ooh, cognac, I like cognac. Cognac is nice. Lunchtime here though. I'll be having some sauteed reindeer for dinner. Reindeer? Really? How's reindeer taste? I think that's reindeer. I don't have my glasses on. So take a look at this. It comes out sort of, you know, if you had one more egg in here, you could probably flip it, right? Because I got a fair bit of tomatoes in there. I could have mainly just maybe just added one, or made, you know, just cooked up one of these guys. And what you can do, if you want to flip it, just cut it in half. It makes it easier to flip. And you can see this one, this tomato here. Take a look. That's a little bit blackened. Okay. And that's exactly what you want. You want it sort of blackened. So let me do this. And this guy is almost getting ready. Okay, I'm going to turn this guy down. Let's see our dishes. So let's turn this guy off. The tomatoes and the eggs. Let's bring this guy here. Let it blacken a little. Actually, let's kick it up a notch. Get that sort of, because there's a little bit of tomato film on the tomatoes right now on the pan, and I'm just gonna kick up the temperature a little bit just to burn that a little bit. Not burn, but blacken a little bit, and then I'm gonna flip it with the eggs because that flavor gets into the eggs. It gets nice and tangy. All right. You can hear the sound, right? This. Let's kick this down way low. So I'm kicking this one, the dates, down really low now. Okay. Do this. Okay, I'm gonna throw this guy on the side. Throw a little water on top. And this is the dish we end up getting, right? Let me show it to you here. I can't put it down on the ground. And what you can do, you can just put greens beside it, or put tomatoes. We're gonna put a toast in there. Right. Let's check out this one. Let's do a flip on this guy first before we make that one complete. Yeah, that's exactly what we want. So take a look at this. Let me show you this guy. And we don't need the lid anymore. So take a look at the dates. Right? You flip them, nicely darkened. Right? That's exactly what you want. Nice. Gotten sort of blackened, so I've kicked this down in temperature. I'm going to leave the lid off, and what I'm going to do, I guess this is what you call garnish the meal. So what you can do is just take some greens. Okay. If I had another camera set up, I'd show you this angle. So just take a little bit of greens, parsley, because you always want greens in your diet. Some green onions. Some mint would be good. What else? What else? We got cilantro, Italian parsley. Break this up. Throw it in there. Let's close this up. Take a little bit of feta cheese. You can almost always, if you feel like it, throw in the feta with the tomatoes as well, right? So this is what it looks like. Nice seedy bread. You got your feta, you got your eggs, you got your protein, you got your vegetables going. Well, I guess tomatoes is considered to be fruit, but and you got your greens, right? And here's the dish you can have, right? This way, lunch and dinner. Without the greens, breakfast. That's what I end up having usually, or when I'm having this dish, that's the way I end up having it. Just the tomatoes and the eggs with the feta and bread, and sometimes a little jam on the side or something like this, right? But it makes a good meal, really quick, super delicious, right? And this guy straight up. Actually, I guess we should taste the other guy, right? Let's make sure it tastes good. Maybe it needs a little bit more salt. I don't know. Let's check it out. right? Fantastic. Really good. Get a little bit of tomatoes hanging out. And it has a tangy taste to it. Really good, fantastic. We loved this when we were kids. Oh my god. Who doesn't love tomatoes and eggs? Should we look at the dates and the eggs? Let's put the dates and the eggs. I gotta get some kind of system where I can put on top of this, where I can put other things on top of it. It's very dangerous. It doesn't show, it shows this guy in the middle. It shows that something is hot, but you don't know which one is hot. Okay. Let's check it out. How did you come with these recipes? These have been in the family forever. Like seriously, I was brought up with both of these recipes. We used to eat both of these when we were kids. Since I can remember, we were eating these. They look delicious. Reindeer is pretty common dish here. Usually we eat it with mashed potatoes and lingonberries. Lingonberries. Ooh, that sounds good. If I can, I'll get my hands on some reindeer. Try it out. Now take a look at this. See this side too? It's nicely darkened. Right? That's exactly what you want for this dish. Let me show it on the big camera. Right? I don't want to. The computer's here, so I don't want to make the computer dirty. Accidentally drop this stuff on it. But take a look. This is exactly what you want. There you go. Fantastic. And this is ready. We're going to turn this off. And this is power food. Dates and eggs. And with this, we'll keep that guy there so we don't accidentally. So take a look at this. And this with feta on the side together, fantastic. You're getting dates, has tremendous amount of iron. Okay, let's turn off these screens because we don't need them anymore. Let's turn off this video, doink, and turn this guy off, doink. Right? So this dish right here, amazing, really. One of the dishes, one of my favorite dishes to eat in the mornings. Actually, we've got a fork here. Just curious, does the coconut oil transfer any taste to the eggs? No, it doesn't actually. It's weird. Sometimes certain foods, the coconut oil, you can taste the coconut, but with the eggs and the tomatoes, I think the tomatoes are so tangy that they totally eliminate the coconut taste, right? And the reason I'm using coconut oil with the eggs is because I was cooking at a higher temp, right? With olive oil, I like cooking a lot with, but if I know I'm kicking something up to a high temp, I don't use olive oil. I try to use coconut oil or different types of oil. Grapeseed oil is pretty good too. I do use that a fair bit, but we've been out for a while. I need to get some more. How did you come with it? Yeah, that was family, just family hand down recipes. If you ask people in the, I guess, Eastern Europe, Middle East and stuff like this, these recipes have been part of our diet forever. Experimental cooking, just curious, does a coconut know, can it break glass? My stove is very different. Can it break glass? I don't know what that means. I don't see you going off stream. Do some weightlifting after this breakfast dish. Maybe I do need to get back into the gym, that's for sure. But for this, take a look. If you're eating this, just great. You can grab one date and a couple of eggs or little egg pieces. Amazing with bread. And again, with feta cheese. Let's chop the feta cheese here. Right? Because the feta cheese is nice and salty, and the dates just gives out a nice sweetness. It sort of gets caramelized, the sugar, natural sugars it has. Amazing dish. And of course, with a little bit of bread. Very good. And I probably added, too many dates for 3 eggs. This could have taken 4 eggs or a little bit less dates, but it really depends on, how sweet, how much dates you want in your diet. I eat a lot of dates. From what I understand, it's got fantastic iron, right? And from what I've been told, it keeps you regular, right? Very good. Power food. Like if you ever go to the gym to work out, or if you're ever doing any type of workout, there's some really quick types of food you can eat to help you optimize the workout. One of them is dates. Okay, dates, almonds, walnuts, right? Very good, very good. I've never eaten dates. Now I'm inspired to try them. Oh, if you've never eaten dates, oh, you're in for a treat. You're in for a treat. Dates are absolutely amazing. Amazing food. Power food. Okay. One thing I'll share with you is one of the things my late grandfather used to say. From one side of the family, he used to say that no one should live in any place where dates grow, because dates require extreme heat, right? So any place dates are growing, you're talking about some of the hottest places in the world, right? And he had traveled in some of those places, and his comment regarding dates was, it's so hot that it's so hostile to human life, but because it's so hostile to human life, it provides power foods, because there isn't too much stuff growing in that area. In an environment where it's so hot, whatever is growing has to be powerful to sustain the people, right? So dates is absolutely amazing power food. If you've never tried dates, and if you haven't included dates as part of your main or part of your diet, start doing it. You'll feel the difference. The fuel you're getting is and the fuel your body is going to be burning when you're eating dates. You'll feel the power coming in, right? You'll feel the power coming in. So that's about it. Those are 2 recipes that I have, and a couple of side dishes, I guess, we made that have been part of my diet for a very, very long time. We grew dates in Arizona. They're awesome. Yeah. Who wins? Mustard. We do have dishes with mayonnaise and mustard. I do use them as well, but maybe those ones will do at another time. I'm seriously going to buy some tomorrow. Awesome. So basically these are the 2 dishes. Now that we got the live stream set up, we're going to be coming into the kitchen more often, and I think what I'm going to do is we're going to come into the kitchen at least twice a month, once every 2 weeks, or maybe even once a week, once I get into a nice little groove, because there's a whole bunch of recipes I'd love to share with you guys. Some are quick like these, some are long, some require a fair bit of prep time and a fair bit of other work. So once we get into the groove, we'll start doing the longer dishes, the dishes that take a fair bit of time to create. And I actually know what we're going to do for the next 2 dishes that we're going to make. Most likely we're going to do another live stream, cooking live stream, in 2 weeks. Okay, and for that live stream we're going to need grains, we're going to need flour, we're going to need eggs, we're going to need a little bit of baking soda. Okay, we're going to make something called, in my part, well, where I came from, my part of the world where I grew up, they call cuckoo. Cuckoo is a Persian dish, and it's also a dish that's spread out. I believe it's a Persian dish, but it's also dish that's spread out within the region as well. So we're gonna make some cuckoo in the next cooking live stream, and we're gonna make a little rice dish, really quick rice dish that includes dates and either raisins or cranberries so there's two dishes we're going to make. One is cuckoo. We're going to need the greens, flour, baking soda, and eggs, and a couple of other things I'll mention. I'll give you guys a heads up. And the other one is going to be another recipe with dates and cranberries and raisins, either or just one of them, right? And of course we're going to need rice. Okay, and hopefully that's going to be done in about 2 weeks period. Okay, that's it, guys. That's my little food recipe that we have right now. So that was a quick, we did, 50-minute live stream. We made ourselves two taste, little things that we can eat as snacks, and two dishes that could be main dishes. If you do try them, let me know what you think. Yeah, very sweet. Dates are bitter. Cool. So I guess that's it. We're gonna do another live stream tomorrow, and what we're gonna do is I believe we set it up for 7:30 p.m. my time. We're gonna do mathematics, and if you know anyone that needs a little math help or needs certain concepts, needs to understand certain concepts that you want me to go over, take a look at that event. We'll get together tomorrow 7:30, and we'll do some mathematics. And if there's no questions, if there's nothing that anyone wants, what I might do, I might just pick a topic at a random and cover that topic, specifically just mainly high school math, and we're going to stay away from calculus and statistics and permutations and combinatorics, right? Because permutations, combinatorics isn't my forte, but we will cover it in depth at some point once I get a little review time into that stuff. And we did a little bit of that when we made some tea, right? A little bit of different combinations, how many different varieties of teas we could make using, I believe, 4 or 5 ingredients. All right. Thanks everyone. Thanks for popping by. Hope you enjoyed, and happy eating, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye for now. Awesome. My pleasure, man. My pleasure. Thanks for the great streams. My pleasure, man. My pleasure. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for being here. Fun stuff, and I got a lot of food to eat. Good stuff. Dates and eggs. Oh my god, I'm gonna go to the dates and eggs right now. The tomatoes, and once I go sweet, I can't go tangy back right away. I can go tangy and then go sweet, but I can't go sweet and then tangy. Fun. I'll see you guys maybe tomorrow. Hopefully you pop by for a little mathematics. Bye for now.